Bun găsit la BIU, sunt Sabina Iosub și vă invit să rămâneți alături de mine în următoarea jumătate de oră pentru că o să vorbim despre România, Schengen și MCV. Lucruri destul de cunoscute, nu? Hai să vedem exact care mai este evoluția.
În urmă cu mai bine de 11 ani, România intra sub MCV, un mecanism de cooperare și verificare a progresului realizat de țara noastră în vederea atingerii anumitor obiective de referință specifice în domeniul reformei sistemului judiciar și al luptei împotriva corupției. Prin decizia din decembrie 2006 a Comisiei Europene sunt stabilite 4 obiective clare și anume: garantarea unui proces judiciar mai transparent și mai eficient totodată, în special prin consolidarea capacităților și a responsabilizării Consiliului Superior al Magistraturii, raportarea și evaluarea impactului noilor coduri de procedură civilă și administrativă, înființarea, conform celor prevăzute, a unei agenții pentru integritate cu responsabilități în domeniul verificării patrimoniului, al incompatibilităților și al conflictelor de interese potențiale, precum și cu capacitatea de a adopta decizii obligatorii care să poată duce la aplicarea unor sancțiuni disuasive. Continuarea, în baza progreselor realizate deja, a unor cercetări profesioniste și imparțiale cu privire la acuzațiile de corupție la nivel înalt. Adoptarea unor măsuri suplimentare de prevenire și combatere a corupției, în special în cadrul administrației locale. An de an, România a fost monitorizată de comisie și rapoarte au fost întocmite pentru măsurarea gradului de îndeplinire a obiectivelor, în teorie, căci în practică, așa cum relevă cele mai recente documente prezentate de Antena 3, sub umbrela MCV, au fost cerute detalii specifice despre cazuri din justiție, fișe de caz, evoluția spețelor în justiție, etc. A fost întocmită chiar și o listă neagră cu persoane despre care Comisia Europeană voia să știe cum evoluează judecarea lor. Acum, după ce documentele au fost făcute publice, România încearcă să afle în ce măsură cererile Comisiei Europene erau îndreptățite și, dacă nu cumva, este vorba despre intervenții de neacceptat în actul de justiție din România.
Today here with me in the European Parliament are Madam Brigit Sippel, thank you so much for your presence.
Hi.
And Mr. Emilian Pavel, thank you so much for your presence.
Hello to all.
Here in the European Parliament, you have had a lot of discussions regarding MCV and the situation of Romania and Bulgaria on one side, and in general to put a certain mechanism to all the states, because we are all the same, isn't it?
We are all the same, at least based on the legal position, we should be all the same. And to be honest, here in European Parliament, since long, we are demanding that both Romania and Bulgaria should be a part of the Schengen area. And we don't see really good reasons why the Council is not willing to do so.
What do you think it should be done in the next period by Romania, let's say, in the technical area, and we will see exactly if we can do this, in the next period, as I said, in the technical area for Romania and Bulgaria also?
No, I'm convinced regarding the technical area, Emilian will know much more details what can be done. But what I would like to point out is that obviously, step by step, new conditions are coming up that have to be fulfilled by the two countries. So one of the solutions could be to do the same checks for all the member states instead of always focusing only on two.
Is it the discussion here in Parliament sufficient, or should we focus on some other forums like the Council, like JAI, like the Commission?
Now, the debate here in Parliament is important because we are the only institution whose debates can be followed publicly. All our debates in committees, in plenary, are web streamed. You can look at it in all our languages. The only ones who are debating behind closed doors are the Commission and the Council. So if we can influence them and demand them to publicly state why they are not willing to give entrance to the Schengen area to two countries, that would be helpful. So some public pressure to the Council would be helpful.
What's the next step then for Romania?
As stated here, we have to bring this debate in the Council and the European Commission to the public. We have to tell one very important thing. Romania and Bulgaria are net contributors to the security of Europe by ensuring the external border of the European Union. And when we look, and we can see here the European Union map, We have Ukraine, we have Moldova, we have the Black Sea, we have Serbia as external borders, Turkey as well. So we contribute to the security of the European Union now and since we became members of the European Union. What can be done in a technical or in a procedural way is to bring the vote and the decision in JAI. In JAI, we have to ask for a decision which, if we are refused to come to become members of the Schengen, they have to, those that are opposing this entry, they have to do it in a written way, in a written statement, giving arguments for this refusal. This refusal, and maybe Ms. Sippel can confirm, can be then attacked in the European Court of Justice, where we will have a final decision. But I think after 11 years of membership in the European Union, Romania and Bulgaria, the citizens of Romania and Bulgaria deserve to be full members when we think that the Council is the only institution that did not give a decision. The Commission stated in multiple cases that we fulfill all the technical requirements. The European Parliament had debates. We recently had in the S&D group a request for a debate in the plenary in Strasbourg. We had that debate, and I think cross parties, cross political groups, everybody said that Romania and Bulgaria, their place is in the Schengen. This is something that...
And I have to ask Madam Sippel, then is it only a political decision that's keeping us out of the Schengen area?
No, to some extent, it's a political decision by the Council. Second point is that the situation has been changed when we first put some member states into the Schengen area, and now that we are still debating about Bulgaria and Romania. Situation has changed regarding security, regarding terrorist attacks. Nevertheless, if we put additional conditions to two countries, we should put the same conditions to all the other countries to check if they really can continue being a member of the Schengen area. And from our point of view here in the Parliament, all the, let's say, technical, formal conditions to be a member in the Schengen area have been fulfilled. So once again, there is no real good reason to say no to be a member in the Schengen area.
Well, it's very interesting to hear this every year, Mr. Pavel, and not to be able to change actually the situation.
I think we are closer now than we were at the beginning of this mandate to become members of the Schengen area. And when we discussed the entry-exit system, I was one of the advocates that Romania and Bulgaria should be in this entry-exit system and have the calculator for the entry-exit system as if we would have been members of the Schengen. This meant automatically that we had access to the visa, passive access to the visa information system, and this is something that we gained in the last decisions that we took. So I think we are closer, but still this political decision has to be done, and I can confirm that any new criteria, any new technical requirement for those two countries should be asked from these two countries after they are permitted to be full members of the Schengen. Not before, because this would be unfair. We already, since 2011, as stated before, have implemented everything from the systems, the technical system, from training for the people that are working at the borders. And I think if we enter the Schengen area, the people and the costs that we have with the border with Hungary, with the border with Bulgaria, can be then moved to protect better, to invest more in the protection of the external border of the European Union. So this cost that we have today, we can invest in the future to better protect the external borders of the European Union.
I know that regarding the cooperation mechanism and verification mechanism is a discussion here at the European level. I've said that there are many points of views, and it's normal to be like this. What do you consider should be the most important decision in this area? To have a mechanism for all, to just take out the mechanism for Romania and Bulgaria, or maybe you have another solution?
Now, in general, I think to have a mechanism for all, so to put in all member states, is not bad. On the other hand, this will take another time, and still Romania and Bulgaria then have to wait. So I think the best way is to simply say the formal technical points have been agreed. And I would like to raise another general aspect in all that debate. Even though economic progress is really big, especially in Romania, still the living conditions, especially in some rural areas, are much different from the living conditions in other member states. Nevertheless, we are demanding from those countries a lot of efforts to protect the external borders. So we have to think about what we are demanding from countries and in which way we really do support them with all the possibilities that we have. So to better balance demands on the one side and supporting the countries on the other side. Because I could imagine that the citizens in Romania and Bulgaria get tired to spend a lot of money for protecting external borders, which is important, but at the same time feel being second-class citizens and not having the possibility to increase visibly their living standards step by step. So we have to rethink all of our mechanisms, and to come back to your initial question, to have a standard for all the member states is good, but I would prefer as a first step to give those two countries access to the Schengen area.
It's very interesting, this point of view, putting pressure on the citizens, putting more and more pressure on the citizens. It's not good.
I think pressure from the citizens towards the council would be better, so
Yeah.
the decision in the council can be taken. I think there are member states that are using this, keeping Romania and Bulgaria outside of the Schengen in a political way. I won't be getting into details on that, but I think regarding the MCV, we have, since last year, the first time we got a concrete timeline and with concrete measures that has to be implemented by the Romanian and the Bulgarian government, so that hopefully, and the timeline is showing that probably or possibly that in October 2018 we will get a decision by the European Commission that the MCV system or the MCV will be abolished. But still, there will be another decision that will have to be taken in the Council. So we will be in the same situation like in the Schengen with the MCV if Romania and Bulgaria applies all the requirements that are stated in the decision from last year. So I think our presidency in 2019, the first 6 months, will be very important for Romania and Bulgaria. And I think this is the deadline where I see the MCV abolished. And maybe we will find a new system that we implement for all 27 member states. And it will be a good possibility for Romania and Bulgaria to enter into the Schengen area.
The European Union came with some liberties. Free movement of people is one of them. In the Romanians and the Bulgarians' case, this is not completely fulfilled, let's say, with not being part of the Schengen area. What do you consider is to be done in the next period regarding the liberties of all citizens, of all European citizens?
I think we here in the Parliament, but also citizens themselves in all the still 28 member states, have to fight for all the freedoms and being European citizens, not only national citizens. And that means that we have to fight for the Schengen area, for open borders, for the possibility to cross borders, to visit citizens of other countries, to find out what is different, what are the same wishes. This is very important. And in a situation where we find that some member states seem, or the governments of some member states, seem to get away from the common European Union, it's even more important that we allow citizens to get in contact, to rebuild the idea of a European Union. So the next step really is to fight for democracy and freedom, to fight for the freedoms within European Union, and to fight for the Schengen area, especially in Bulgaria and Romania, but also to fight for the open borders between all the other member states.
Are we doing this?
I think there's a big danger when we listen to a lot of debates stating that you should be happy that you are not in the Schengen area because otherwise the route would have been not through Serbia, so the Western Balkans, it would have been through Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary, and so on. I think this is the kind of debates that we have to avoid because they are not true. The biggest values that we share and the biggest gains that we achieved with the European Union as it is now are exactly the free movement, the mixing of the different cultures, the dialogue. When we meet in the European Union, we see that we have the same challenges, we have the same worries. If we are not meeting, we see only the rich Western countries or the poor Eastern ones. But in the end, we have the same worries, we have the same challenges that we can face better together. And if we have this free movement, we can do this easier. If we are introducing borders, and I visited last week in a European Parliament delegation, Greece. There is a border control between Greece and Germany for the airports. This is not normal. This is something that we have to abolish. It is not normal that France still has no real argument, but keeps the controls at the borders. This is something that we have, and we are debating in the Libe committee, and this is something that we have to finish with. We have to strengthen our external borders, find legal ways that we have migrants that are fleeing from wars, that are fleeing from their problems in their regions, that they come through legal basis. And this is something that maybe Ms. Sippel can tell us more about. But this is something that we can do only together. We have to share, as also said, the cost of the protection of the external border. We have to share responsibility for those people that are coming towards, because they are fleeing towards the European Union. Yes, and we have to see the European map as a Schengen map, plus the other countries that are not members of the European Union.
When being in the same house for a family, it's much more easier to control the house, to see exactly who's entering and who's exiting that house. That's how the European Union should function, I think. I know that you personally are focusing also on what data protection means, how important it is to have all these entry and exit systems, but not to forget about the liberties of each person and protection of each person.
So we have to be very clear when we talk about what is data protection, and very often we hear, oh, but you have to ensure security, so please forget about data protection. That's not good, because what are we talking about? We are not talking about protecting any kind of data. We are talking about protecting privacy. And if we protect privacy, we also protect democracy and freedom. So we need to find the correct balance. And I think we can do it if we really make it good. So controlling border is something that, of course, we should do. That's normal. Every country in the world is controlling its borders, and as European Union, we should control our external borders. And we can do it with strong safeguards regarding data protection. But I would like to add another point. Controlling borders doesn't mean closing down the borders. It really has to mean control. Check who is coming in, take the data. If it's migrants who might not have documents, might have lost their papers, you have to register, take their fingerprints. That needs to happen at external borders. It's fine. But to be honest, we started the debate of controlling external borders some years ago, and there was no interest coming from the member states. So only now, after we had some terrorist attacks, only now after we had many refugees trying to enter European Union, asking for protection, they woke up and said, oh, now we have together protect our external borders. So member states are a little bit late. Nevertheless, now we are taking the challenge. But at the same time, if we want to ensure democracy, freedom and fundamental rights within European Union, we should think about giving those rights to all our more than 500 million citizens and not take away some of them. So once again, let's make Romania and Bulgaria a part of the Schengen area.
We in Romania, when we are talking about controlling people, we cannot think of Big Brother, because it was a huge debate regarding such a mechanism, let's say, in Romania. Here at the European level, the discussion is in the opposite side, let's say, in the data protection. What can we do in our country in order to keep up the pace with the European Union, actually?
I think when talking about privacy and data protection, but especially privacy, we are not that far away from 1989. Before that, we didn't have anything to do with privacy in Romania. We were all, maybe you couldn't talk with your own wife in the bed, something before the securitate would have known it already. So I think we have to be more sensitive towards what Ms. Sippel said a few minutes ago, that privacy has to be ensured. Of course, we have to give the necessary tools to the authorities, to the border control, so that they can check the people, that they can see who they really are. We have to find solutions to identify those persons, to see if they really are migrants that flee from wars, or they are migrants that, economical migrants, let's say. So I think the debate is really hot in Romania right now. When we see the last week debate about how people were listened to, how they were forced to do certain things, and I think this is something that we have to deal with as soon as possible, so the credibility of the authorities is re-established, so that we can build again trust between the citizens and the state and the authorities.
Thank you both for your comments and for your presence. I think that for our public, for the Romanian viewers, your message is extremely important. Let's take Romania and Bulgaria in the Schengen area. Thank you so much for that message.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Pavel, also for your comments and for what you do here in the European Parliament.
Thank you very much.
Iar vouă, celor de acasă, vă spun să rămâneți pe Antena 3, să aveți o sâmbătă frumoasă. Nu uitați că ne revedem și sâmbăta viitoare la 9:30 la BU. Cu bine!